Hello everyone. So today I will present some research development that we have done in the field of the SLM fabricated Hastella X using the to uh, predict the fatigue life for the SLM fabricated Hastella X using the FFT approach. This work has been done in collaboration with the ITP Aero, University Politecnica de Madrid, and IMDA Materials. So here I will just because this is not a platform to discuss the mathematical things and everything. So I'm just brief you about the what are the methodologies and how we able to predict the additive manufactured fatigue life. So this is the outline. First is the introduction. Here I will introduce some into the topic and what are the problem statements, and then secondly, I will brief you about the particular prediction methodology, uh, and finally we will discuss some one or two slides of results, and finally we will conclude. So first, uh, here we are discussing about Hastelloy X. Hastelloy X is a solid solution strengthening alloy, which mostly preserves its strength around 1000 Kelvin. Due to this, it has some nice resistance to the oxidation, corrosion, and grain coarsening, that's why it's mostly used in the jet engine tailpipes, afterburner components, turbine blades. So this is the nominal composition of the Hastelloy X. Um, Due to the nice weldability and the formability of Hastelloy X, mostly and the recent development in the additive manufactured, it Hastelloy X, like industry has been using Hastelloy X as a additively manufactured one, but there are some problems that the due to the layer by layer process, high cooling rate in the SLM melt pool, which gives to the different microstructure which is not similar to the wrought and cast materials. Typically, the elongated grains are found in the build direction. If you see in the figure here, the first one, A, is more or less it shows equiax grain structure, but in the B you see more or less it's a elongated grain structure. So this is the non-homogeneous grain size structure will lead to the anisotropic response, and it's far detrimental in the fatigue life. So this is the problem statement that uh, because there are some samples, we have different grain microstructures and anisotropy, we should have the uh, model which able to predict the fatigue response considering the CPA50 framework. Now we will discuss the fatigue like prediction methodology. So this is the standard framework model. Here I will go step by step. So first we will build a RV. In an RV, we have all this grain size, aspect ratio, all these things we include in the RV. Second one is once we have the RV, we will simulate with the our crystal plasticity model and use CPA50 homogenization, and then we predict the fatigue indicated parameters. Here we use the energy based fatigue indicated parameters. Uh, and once we have that, because since the fatigue is the kind of fatigue is the stochastic approach, so we needed several realizations of the RV to take into considering this probability. We will fit the Gumbel distribution. Then we make a link between the whatever the FIP that we have and the fatigue life, and then finally we predict the fatigue life. Okay, then the first ingredient to our work is the RV generation, and which is the most important work. Since we have the EBSD model, we can, and as I said earlier, that we have the elongated grains in in one section. So here we have let's say we have the EBSD. We extract three things from EBSD. One is the 2D grain size, second is the grain orientation, and third one is the grain aspect ratio. So using the 2D grain size, since we are using MATLAB MTeX, we get the 2D grain size distribution. We generate the apparent 3D grain size distribution using the Dream 3D or other tools using considering the spherical grains. And when we get the apparent 3D grain size distribution, and using the weighted Voronoi tessellation for spherical equiax grain and log normal distributions of the grains, we able to build an RV which is spherically which has the spherical equiax grains. But in general, we need the elongated grains, so we include the artificial aspect ratio of the grains uh, as per the uh, actual microstructure. And secondly, we use the orientation. In using the because since the actual microstructure has millions of grain, we use the Monte Carlo simulation to sample the orientation, and then we include into the RV. So in our RV now, it's more is very likely to the actual microstructure, and which we will use in further. So these are the some in our earlier work we built some RV for the additive manufacture sample, and you see there more or a lot of elongated grains are there, and which is very similar to our actual EBS test. So then I will quickly go to the crystal plasticity model. The crystal plasticity model is the cyclic one, which equation one shows the resolved shear stress on the any slip plane, and plastic slip system is now include the evolution of back stress, which is given in the equation 3, and finally the strain hardening modulus is given by the Asaro-Harmon Needleman isotropic hardening. So this the rate parameter that we need to find using the inverse optimization approach, which we will discuss further. Now the fatigue characterization model is based on is to identify the critical value of cyclic FIP. And so let's say this is the microstructure, and so in order to crack to initiate that, whichever the point has maximum accumulated plastic work per cycle, in short term I say FIP, at that point we say that fatigue crack has been initiated, and we consider there's different bands like I show in the figures to reduce the mesh size dependency. And these bands are like oriented in the slips, all the slip systems. So once we have the FIPs, we'll establish an empirical relationship between the FIP and the fatigue life through two parameters like critical FIP and the M that we need to fit in further work. So next one is the simulation setup that again we use the RV. We load in the X direction with the different strains, and these are the strains like but these are normalized due to some confidentiality, and each like 20 realizations of each RV has been simulated, and like we have make a trick that each like a 15th numerical cycle will correspond to the 2000 experimental cycle, so that we can easily jump to the higher experimental cycles. Now we use the FFT homogenization, since the FEM has inherent limitations that it has the it's not too efficient. So and that's why FFT come into play, like natural periodicity in the FFT, and no meshing is required. And this FFT like is not platform to discuss the formulation, but the computational homogenization approach is something like that. Let's say we have the macroscopic stress and strain history on the, like FT and FFT in the field, and we need to find the microscopic fields in the in our domain. Okay, to do that, we FFT-MAD software has been developed in the MDA Materials, which has been used in the further work. So finally, we go to the results. So first one of the crystal plasticity inverse parameter fitting. We use the Levenberg-Marquardt least square algorithm using the CPFFT approach, considering approximately 1000 grain, which has been loaded in the X direction. Okay, again, all these things has already been discussed. So these and this is our using the curve fitting approach. The red one is the actual experimental 2000 cycle, and the blue one is our simulated 15 cycle. Like we have the very nice fitting with that one, and these are the parameters that we fitted. Again, these parameters are normalized. And then we used different applied strains and check the peak stress in each things. So if you see now, this red color line is the experimental one, and the blue dots are the numerical one. In each case, we are able to find the accurate peak stress, and at the same time the stable accurate peak stress. So we say that after 15th cycle, the hysteresis loop has been stabilized, and the FIPs in that stabilized loop has been used for fatigue life prediction. And these are at the end of 15th cycle, if you see, we have quite stable stable response, and that has been used. And
Okay.
finally, yeah,
The time is finished.
just, just a single minute, I'm just finished now. Okay, so now finally we able to predict the like all this formulation on the right hand side. We are able to predict the fatigue life within the given scatter, and we see we have the quite accurate fitting. So finally, the conclusion that for the SLM component, using the efficient CPFT solver and homogenization, including actual grain size and actual texture, we are able to fit actually the we are able to predict the fatigue life. Okay, thank you very much.